Lisa had never wanted to vanish more than she did the next morning. The minute she stepped into the office, all eyes swung toward her. Not with the mild curiosity of before, but with sharp, cutting stares. Whispers spread like wildfire. She got promoted to director. Just like that. Everyone knows why. Lisa forced her shoulders back and marched to her desk. No, not her desk anymore. Her new office. The brass nameplate on the door gleamed. Lisa Banks, Director of Special Projects. She closed the door behind her and leaned against it, heart thudding. Special projects, she muttered. What does that even mean? A stack of thick folders waited on her new desk, but when she opened them, she realized none of them had anything to do with her. They were dummy file placeholders. The position wasn't real. Her stomach sank. This isn't a promotion, she whispered. It's a shield. By noon, the tension in the office had curdled. A few colleagues offered her stiff congratulations, but most avoided her altogether. Jin-soo passed by her office twice, loud enough for her to hear his snide remarks. Some of us work 10 years for a promotion, others just dance their way into one. Lisa gritted her teeth, resisting the urge to throw something at him. She was still fuming when her phone buzzed with a message. Chon-min, my office. Now, when she entered, he was pacing, an unusual sight for the man who usually sat like a carved statue. You don't look happy, he said, noticing the storm on her face. Lisa shut the door. Happy? You dropped me into a shark tank, and now everyone thinks I slept my way into this job. His jaw tightened. Let them think what they want. No, she shot back, voice sharp. That's easy for you to say. You've got power, money, respect. I've got sticky notes and sarcasm. Do you even realize what this looks like for me? He stopped pacing, his gaze locking on hers. Yes. The quiet weight in his voice silenced her. Yes, I realize, he continued, softer now. One Friday evening, the office was nearly empty when Lisa finally finished polishing a proposal for the board. She gathered her papers, ready to escape into the weekend, when her phone buzzed. Chon-min, my office, she groaned. Of course. When she entered, he was seated at his desk, jacket off, sleeves rolled to his elbows. The sight startled her. He looked less like the untouchable CEO and more like a man worn down by the weight of his empire. You're still here? She asked, setting the file down. So are you, he countered, his tone quieter than usual. She smiled faintly. Touché. He gestured to the chair across from him. Sit. Show me what you've been working on. Lisa hesitated. Then slid the proposal across the desk. He scanned it silently, his brow furrowing in concentration. Her nerves buzzed. She needed his approval more than she wanted to admit. Finally, he set the paper down. This is good. Her shoulders sagged in relief. Really? He nodded once. Stronger than what some of the board members bring me. Lisa grinned, warmth spreading through her chest. But before she could savor it, he leaned back, studying her in that unnervingly intense way of his. You surprised me, he said. She raised a brow. That a girl from DC can write a decent business plan? No. His voice dropped, lower now. That you keep standing up to me. And everyone else. The air shifted, thickening between them. Lisa's smile faltered, her pulse quickening. His gaze lingered, too long, too heavy, until she felt her cheeks grow warm. Careful, she whispered, her voice catching. You're starting to sound almost human. For the first time, he laughed. A real laugh, low, rich, startling in its warmth. Lisa froze, stunned. She'd never heard it before. And it did something to her she couldn't explain, something dangerous. Don't get used to it, he said, though his lips still curved slightly. They sat in silence after that, but it wasn't awkward. It was charged. Yes, he admitted softly. The vulnerability in his voice cut through her like glass, and Lisa realized with terrifying clarity this wasn't just a game anymore. She was falling deeper. When she finally left his office that night, the city lights shimmered outside the windows, but Lisa barely saw them. All she could see was the man behind the iceberg. And all she could feel was the pull she was running out of strength to resist. By Monday, the tension in the office had reached a breaking point. Lisa had worked hard all weekend preparing for her first presentation to the board. She walked into the conference room with her folders neatly stacked, her head held high, determined to prove she deserved to be there, but the moment she entered, she felt the shift. Conversations hushed. Eyes flicked toward her, some cold, some curious, some mocking. Jin-soo was there, of course, sitting smugly near the front, as though waiting for her to fail. When the meeting began, Lisa presented her proposal with as much confidence as she could muster. She spoke clearly, explained her points, and even managed a few jokes that earned polite chuckles, but as soon as she finished, Jin-soo leaned back in his chair, smirking. With all due respect, he drawled, "This proposal is simplistic. Nothing we haven't heard before. Perhaps the director of special projects should focus on, I don't know, actual projects?" Laughter rippled around the table. Lisa's cheeks burned, but she forced her voice steady. "It may seem simple to you, Jin-soo, but sometimes effective strategies don't need to be complicated. The numbers speak for themselves." Jin-soo waved a dismissive hand. "Numbers anyone could pull from a Google search." The laughter grew louder, sharper, cutting into her confidence. Lisa opened her mouth to retort when a voice sliced through the room, cold and commanding, "Enough." The laughter died instantly. All eyes turned as Chan Min stood at the head of the table, his expression like stone. "I asked Miss Banks to present this project because I trust her judgment," he said, his voice low but carrying. "And unlike some of you, she doesn't waste time with arrogance disguised as criticism." The silence was heavy. No one dared move. Chan Min's gaze locked on Jin-soo. "If you have a better proposal, present it. Otherwise, sit down and be quiet." Jin-soo's face flushed scarlet. He mumbled something and sank into his chair, avoiding Lisa's eyes. Lisa, meanwhile, sat frozen, her heart pounding. She had expected Chan Min to dismiss her, to let her fight her own battle. But instead, he had defended her, in front of everyone. Not with politeness. Not with diplomacy. But with fire. The rest of the meeting passed in stiff silence, the board members suddenly attentive to every word Lisa spoke. When it finally ended, Lisa gathered her things quickly, eager to escape the suffocating room. But as she reached the door, a voice stopped her. "Miss Banks. Stay." She turned slowly. Chan Min was still at the head of the table. Watching her with that unreadable gaze, the room emptied, executives shuffling out with curious glances. When the door clicked shut, silence fell. Lisa crossed her arms. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did." She frowned. "Why?" "To prove a point. To protect your company's image." His jaw tightened. "To protect you." Her breath caught, the words hung between them, heavier than any rumor, more dangerous than any gossip. "Chan Min." She began, but the rest of her sentence dissolved when she saw the flicker of something raw in his eyes. Something he couldn't quite hide anymore, for the first time. Lisa realized this wasn't just about power, or rumors, or the company. He had crossed the line, and so had she. That night, as she lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Lisa replayed the scene over and over. The fire in his voice. The way his gaze lingered on her after everyone else had left, the way her heart had nearly leapt out of her chest when he said those words, "To protect you." She was in trouble, big trouble. The office was quiet, the kind of silence that felt sacred. The city lights glittered through the glass walls, and the hum of the air conditioning was the only sound left. Everyone had gone home hours ago. Everyone except Lisa. And Chan Min. She sat at the long conference table. Papers spread around her, a pencil tucked behind her ear. The big presentation to the investors was tomorrow, and she wanted every detail perfect. Across from her, Chan Min was working too, though he hardly looked at the papers. Every so often, his eyes flicked up, watching her. Lisa felt it. She pretended not to, but she felt it like a steady burn against her skin. "You don't have to stay," she said finally. eyes still on her notes. I know. She glanced up. So why are you? His gaze didn't waver. Because you're here. Her heart skipped. She forced a laugh. Careful, Chan Min. That almost sounded human again. The corner of his lips twitched, but he said nothing. They worked in silence a while longer. Though the air between them grew heavier with every passing minute. Finally, Lisa leaned back, stretching her arms above her head. I swear, if I look at another chart, my eyes are going to bleed, she groaned. You should rest, he said quietly. You too. Their eyes met, and the world seemed to still. Lisa's breath caught. The way he was looking at her, intense, unguarded, almost hungry, it was nothing like the Ice King everyone else knew. She felt the pull, stronger than ever. Dangerous. Irresistible. Slowly, he stood and walked toward her, his steps measured. He stopped just beside her chair, close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating off him. Lisa, he murmured, her name low and soft on his lips. She looked up, her pulse racing. Yes. His hand hovered, as if he wanted to touch her face but couldn't bring himself to cross that last inch. His eyes searched hers, the ice in them melting, revealing something raw, something he'd buried for too long. Lisa's breath came faster. Her heart screamed at her to pull away, but her body refused to move. The silence stretched, charged, unbearable, and then, the sound of a phone buzzing shattered it. They both froze. His phone lit up on the table, flashing with an urgent call from the board chairman. The spell broke. Chan Min stepped back, his jaw tight, his expression shuddering closed. The Ice King was back. Lisa sat frozen, her chest rising and falling too fast, her lips parted as if she'd forgotten how to breathe. He grabbed his phone, silenced it, and without looking at her said, "We should finish this tomorrow." And then he walked out, leaving her alone with her pounding heart and trembling hands. Lisa pressed her palms against her face, trying to steady herself. They had almost crossed a line, almost, and she wasn't sure what terrified her more, that they hadn't or that they would. The next morning, Lisa expected awkward silence, maybe even avoidance. After all, they had nearly crossed a line the night before. A line that neither of them should have even approached, but Chan Min was colder than ever. When she greeted him in his office, he barely looked up. His instructions were clipped, his tone precise, his eyes unreadable. Lisa clenched her jaw. Fine. If he wanted to pretend nothing happened, she could do that too, but as the hours passed, she noticed something strange. The mask he wore, the one she'd seen so many times, it wasn't steady anymore. His hands drummed against the desk. His eyes lingered on her a beat too long before darting away. Once, when she brushed too close while handing him a report, his entire body stiffened as if struck. The cracks were showing, and everyone else was starting to notice. At lunch, Lisa sat in the cafeteria trying to ignore the whispers that had only gotten worse since her promotion. A group of executives at the next table were murmuring, not quietly enough, "She's still just his assistant. Director of Special Projects. What a joke. Everyone knows why she's here." Lisa stabbed at her salad, fighting the urge to fling it across the room. Before she could respond, a shadow fell over the table. Chan Min. The entire cafeteria went still. The CEO never ate here. Never. He placed his tray down directly across from Lisa and sat. His expression unreadable. Lisa blinked. What are you doing?" "Eating lunch." She lowered her voice. "With me? In front of everyone?" "Yes." The whispers erupted instantly, buzzing louder than the air vents. Lisa felt her skin heat under the attention. "You don't have to do this," she muttered. "I know," he said calmly, picking up his chopsticks. She stared at him, her pulse hammering. He wasn't just protecting her this time. He was making a statement. To the whole company, and that statement was clear. Lisa Banks wasn't to be dismissed. The weight of his gesture wasn't lost on anyone. By the time lunch ended, the whispers had shifted tone from mocking to speculative. That evening, Lisa confronted him in his office. "You didn't have to sit with me." "Yes, I did." Her frustration boiled over. "Why, Chan Min? You keep saying you're protecting me, but do you realize what you're doing? You're making it worse. You're giving them more reasons to talk. His eyes flashed, sharp and intense. Let them talk. I don't care what they say about me. She swallowed hard. But they're not just talking about you. They're talking about me. Silence. Heavy, then, slowly, he stepped toward her, his voice lowering. I care, he said. More than I should. Air like a live wire, Lisa's breath caught, her body frozen, her heart slamming in her chest. For the first time, he wasn't hiding behind his iceberg of control. For the first time, he was admitting the truth, and Lisa wasn't sure whether to run from it or fall straight into it. The office was nearly deserted by the time Lisa packed up her things. The long day had drained her, but her mind was far too restless to feel tired. Chanmin's words echoed in her head like a drumbeat. I care. More than I should. She had spent hours replaying them, dissecting every syllable, every flicker of emotion in his eyes. Was it a slip? A strategy? Or the truth? Her chest tightened. She wanted it to be the truth. And that terrified her. As she stepped into the elevator, the doors slid open, and there he was, Chanmin, alone. The air seemed to thicken instantly. She hesitated, but before she could decide, his hand shot out, holding the doors open. His eyes flicked to her, dark and unreadable, going down. Her throat went dry. Why yeah. She stepped inside. The doors closed with a soft ding, the silence was suffocating. The low hum of the elevator was the only sound, but beneath it, Lisa could hear her heartbeat hammering like a warning drum. Halfway down, the lights flickered. The elevator jolted and came to an abrupt halt. Lisa gasped, gripping the rail. What just happened? Power surge, Chanmin muttered, pressing the emergency button. His calm voice didn't hide the tension in his jaw. Backup will kick in soon. But the lights dimmed further, leaving them in a soft, shadowy glow. Lisa swallowed hard. Of course. Because being stuck in an elevator with you is exactly what I needed tonight. His lips twitched almost a smile, but it faded quickly. He turned, facing her fully. The dim light softened his features, stripped away the cold CEO mask. His eyes, fixed on her, looked almost vulnerable. Lisa shifted, heat crawling up her neck. Miss Banks. The CEO will see you now. Lisa forced her legs to move. Inside, Chanmin stood behind his desk, phone pressed to his ear. His expression was thunder. No, he snapped in Korean. The rumors are baseless. Handle it quietly. No press statements. He ended the call and turned toward her. For a moment, his gaze softened then hardened again. You've seen it, he said flatly. Lisa nodded, clutching the phone in her hand. Everyone has. His jaw clenched. It will blow over. Will it? She shot back. Because right now, it looks like your company's Ice King has a girlfriend hidden in plain sight. His eyes narrowed, sharp with something she couldn't name. Is that what you are? Lisa. Hidden. The word cut. She opened her mouth, then closed it again, unsure how to answer. He sighed, dragging a hand through his hair, an uncharacteristically human gesture. I'll handle it. You just stay out of sight for a while. Her chest tightened. Stay out of sight. Like I'm a problem you can shove into a corner. He froze. The silence between them was heavy, dangerous. Finally, he said quietly, that's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? She demanded, her voice shaking with something between anger and hurt. His lips parted, but no words came. For once, the CEO who always had control, always had answers, was speechless, before either of them could say more. Mr. Park rushed in, pale-faced. Sir. The chairman is calling an emergency board meeting. Now. Lisa's stomach dropped. The chairman. The very man who had trusted Chanmin with the empire. If the rumors spread too far, if the board thought the CEO's judgment was compromised, Lisa swallowed hard. This is because of me. Chan Min's gaze snapped to hers, fierce and unyielding. No. This is because of them. And with that, he straightened his tie, his mask sliding back into place, the Ice King reborn, but Lisa saw it. The flicker beneath the ice. The fire he was trying so desperately to hide. Episode 2 ends here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Also click on the notification bell, so that you will get notified whenever a new story comes up. You can also go ahead to tell me the country you are watching from,